So I have a question for you. What's the best email marketing platform for creators? It's ConvertKit. It combines powerful automation with an easy to use interface. The heart of their business is their visual automation tool that allows you to deliver the right message to your audience at the right time. They have pre-built landing pages and forums, so creating and sending out copy is extremely easy. I personally use it with my business when I'm doing webinars. And you can use it too. Right now, we have an exclusive offer for you. ConvertKit is giving you a freemium membership with full access to the landing pages, forums, and email marketing for free, up to 1,000 subscribers. They are one of the only platforms that allows you to add your Facebook pixel to it for free. It allows you to create automation, and it allows you to get the ball rolling with your business. And of course, it integrates with Shopify, Wix, Squarespace, Gumroad, and a ton of other platforms. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit the podcast description and click the link there to get you to this freemium account. It's an amazing service, so make sure you try it out, guys. Let me know how it goes for you. I want to know. All right, let's get into the show.
We originally came in and we were like, we want a 9-figure exit, which I don't think is out of the question from what you see from a lot of these companies by any means. A 9-figure exit to us at one point was 100 million. Now we're looking like we could hit 200. We could do 200 million, 250, 300 million. But along that journey, it's become less about money and more about Manssion becoming a household name for us. You know, the money's awesome. It's cool. It gives you freedom. It lets you take care of your loved ones and your friends and give people experiences. But the best things I've had with Manssion, and these just happened last week, is we were out we were out at the bar, and this guy was like, yeah, I'm from Arizona. We were both rooting for the Suns, and I looked down at his wrist, and he was rocking our bracelets. And I go, where'd you get those bracelets? And he goes, Manssion. He goes, yeah, I saw them on Instagram. They're a dope company. You should check them out. And I lifted up my shirt sleeve, and I have our logo tattooed on me.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, you like Manssion that much? And I go, no, I actually own the company. He goes, no way. And he was so excited.
Hello and welcome to Hustle Over Everything. This is the podcast where we receive stories, tips, and strategies from entrepreneurs who've done it to help you grow your business and take us up to the next level as a person. Today on the show, we got Tori Rowe. He is the co-founder of Manssion. Manssion is a premium jewelry line for men. He has built the company up to become a 7-figure company in a short amount of time. So we're really going to dive deeper into e-commerce entrepreneurship. But yeah, before we get into that, what's good with you, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. This was an amazing, amazing story. I mean, as a first-time entrepreneur, that's one thing I was really impressed about what him and his team are doing. You know, a lot of entrepreneurs, they start from several startups and then they hit it. But, you know, what Tori's story makes it so unique is he's so self-taught and he learned along the way of learning Facebook ads, watching YouTube videos, implementing that, like crashing and burning along the way. And now they have like this thriving, growing like accessory lines business that's just killing it. So he dropped a lot of gems on this, bro. I actually had to take a pause for the cause and interview you guys, even you, bro, like asking you about Facebook ads and, you know, how to scale different, how to take ads to the next level. Is it budget? Is it the way you set them up? Just all these little gems was very insightful for me to listen to. How'd you find it?
Facts. No, I thought it was a great podcast. You know, he really dug deep into the nitty gritties of e-commerce. So if you're an e-commerce entrepreneur, this podcast is specifically for you. So make sure you pay attention, have a notepad ready. You know, logistics was a big one. I feel like he touched on that. We don't ever really get to dive deep in, and that could really help a lot of entrepreneurs out because we're ordering products from China, Indonesia, you know, all overseas, and don't really know who to go to for answers there. So hopefully that provides some context for people to, you know, get to the next level in their business. So hopefully that helps. And the Facebook ad stock was great. You know, it's always good to talk to somebody who is experienced with Facebook ads or just experienced in your industry, period. You know, I don't believe I know everything. You know, I feel like the person who thinks they know everything knows nothing. So, you know, I'm always trying to be a sponge and learn more. Like today I was listening to other podcasts just trying to soak up more game when it comes to Facebook ads because there's always supposed to be something on the up and coming to, you know, learn and test and try out. So, yeah, it's always good to chop it up with more people. So, yeah, man.
And it also got me wondering, too, when he spoke about logistics, because when you look at the heart of a company, what really makes a great company, right? You can have the best product, you can have the best marketing, but if your internal structure is way off, it's so hard to scale. And I think as e-commerce entrepreneurs, people who dabble in e-commerce, we overlook this part in understanding how the back end systems play a huge factor in our success. Because once you have a repeatable way of doing things for like 10 products, 500 products, imagine you getting 700 orders a day. And I can imagine they might get that in a week because they're selling accessories, right? They're like, this is just speculation, but hundreds of products a week you're moving. You need to have a way of handling logistics. And as e-commerce, you look everywhere on YouTube. It's always about Facebook ads and marketing, but we never touch upon this. So a lot of people will get value in how to, really put an emphasis on logistics and how to get your product to your customer in a timely way that is customized. They have proper packaging. It's, personalized for them, and doing that repeatedly over and over again. Like, what systems do you have? So that's like a food for thought for everyone to take away from this as you're done listening.
Facts. As you said that, I was like, damn, like logistics is really like the veins of your company.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it, the big companies in e-commerce, the Walmarts, the Amazons, the IKEA, they're all logistics.
Crazy.
IKEA's all vertically integrated, right? They own forests in the Amazon, right? Like your e-commerce logistics is everything, But that's neither here nor there, man. Let's get into it.
And you know what? We got to shout it out. Like, I feel like Yara, episode in the mid 40s, I can't remember, but she spoke about this in setting up her logistics side of things with the Mississauga shipment centers that she has around her house. And I think from then on, her business scaled with Facebook ads. So she had a mixture of great logistics, great marketing, and that was like the ingredients to like really take off for her. So this was like a big eye opener for me as well. Like, never underestimate the power of logistics and planning for that.
Jamie, can you look up what number that was? All right, cool. So Jamie looked that up.
Jamie's looking it up.
Yeah. I think Yara's episode was really good. You need to get her back on the podcast. What episode was that, Jamie? Episode 45? 45. It was episode 45.
Yeah. I had a hunch it was, but I didn't want to just say random numbers. Yeah, guys, go check out episode 45. But like, you don't even know your own podcast, bro. So keep it within the buffers of the 40s, and you'll find it. But we got 45. Facts. We got 45.
Yeah, word. So it's episode 45. It's called I'm building a killer 7-figure yoga company. It's a dope podcast. Make sure you tune to that too. With that being said, man, let's hop over to the housekeeping items and into the podcast. You ready? You ready on?
Man, I'm born ready. Have a great Monday, guys. Let's kill it this week. Another day, another dollar. Shout out to J. Cole, Dollar in the Dream Tour. I wish I attended that, but
man, if only, dog. Nah, that was one of the biggest L's.
A loony tour, bro. Oh, you went?
Nah, I got the L like everybody else did. I'm saying it felt like a sneaker drop. The way you like caught that L, I was like, oh damn. I wish. But yeah, man, let's get into the podcast, guys. We'll see you soon. Have a good Monday.
All right, cheers, guys. Peace.
Thank you so much for listening. The conversation continues on our Instagram at 247hustler. We post very frequently. And be sure to check out our merch at hustleovereverything.co. We have some amazing sweaters, hats, mugs, and a lot more. Lastly, our Proud to Pay program is linked in the description below. Thank you so much for your support. Talk to you next Monday. Peace. Hey guys, I just wanted to quickly jump in here. One thing that happened is that the audio didn't come out in the best quality, but make sure you still tune in. This has a lot of gems. So I'm excited to share this podcast with you guys. All right, guys, see you on the inside. Today, we have a great podcast for you, ladies and gentlemen. A niche we haven't dived deep into yet is jewelry. You've seen the rise of brands like Movement, Vitali, Pura Vida, and others like this. there's a huge market in the men's jewelry niche right now. And right now we have a professional, an e-commerce expert who's brought his business up to 7 figures, and really can showcase and talk about it. So I'm excited to have him on the show today. My guy, Tori Rowe.
What's going on, Alex?
Man? How you doing?
That's an amazing name, bro. Tori Rowe. Your parents really thought hard about making that name. It sounds like a pro baseball player, I'd say.
I know. What a disappointment I must be. It was made for an athlete, and here I am.
Yeah.
How you guys
It's an
doing?
all-star name.
Well, I appreciate that.
That's a fact. Yeah, we were talking earlier. You said it sounds like a little bit like a band. Like, you see them out on Queen Street West, which is like our downtown. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I want to go see Tori Rowe today. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Maybe I'll change up. Maybe after this whole e-com thing, maybe I'll start a little rock band, or try to get back into the league or something.
Solo artist.
There you go.
Well, you used to play football.
Tori Rowe.
Yeah, I played some football. Played some volleyball my whole life. So yeah, played a couple sports.
I got you. I thought, did you play college ball or something like that?
Yeah, I did. I played JUCO. Nothing crazy, not too high up, but I walked onto a junior college team. Never played high school football. Walked onto JUCO. Thought I was going to go D1 until I saw Brock Osweiler at ASU, and I was like, this ain't going to happen, man.
This ain't it.
Yeah, you're not cut off for this.
Nah, dude. You walk into that guy 6'8", you're like, listen, I'm not tackling that guy. I'm out of here.
It's like, nah. You know what? I choose peace.
Yeah. I'll choose e-com.
All right. So let's talk through it, man. Just to get your early stages of your life. So, after that, you went into being a cop straight out of school. What was the journey like?
Yeah. So went to college, chased the college football dream around for a little bit after walking on. Like I said, I figured out that wasn't for me pretty quickly. And then as soon as I left college, I became a police officer. So while I was still actually in college, I went through the application process, and my dad was a police officer for 32 years in Phoenix. And, always looked up to him, wanted to follow in his footsteps, stuff like that. And I jumped on board, and, it was awesome. It was an awesome experience. I learned a lot. I got on at 23. I went to the academy. 24 was like on the streets by myself. So you just start learning. I have mixed feelings about it. I like some of the stuff police officers do. I think some of it's just dumb. Marijuana was still illegal when I was a cop, and I was like, "There's no way I'm arresting someone for this stuff." So I had mixed feelings.
Seems petty.
What's up?
Seems petty.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, this is just ridiculous. There's much bigger things out in the world. It was never a traffic cop or anything like that. So, it was a learning experience for a 24-year-old kid. You learn a lot real quick. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Did you have any fear, being a cop, when you're out in the force?
You know what? I think at 24, I didn't. Just because of exactly that. You're 24. What fears do you have? You think you're invincible. You've never been I'm 31 now. The knee might hurt waking up one day. At 24, you feel 100% every day. So I always was good. No big fears or anything like that. I think my biggest fear was messing up or screwing someone's life up or something like that. Getting the wrong guy and charging him for the wrong crime or something like that. That's my fear.
Yeah. I actually want to take a second to ask, what did you see in your dad that made you want to become a police officer? Because nowadays it's rare that we actually see our parents following that footsteps. I rarely see anybody do that nowadays.
Yeah. You know what? I think, my dad's a great man. He's very smart. He was a college football star too, he was a college football star. I was definitely not. So he was a college football stud and all this kind of stuff. And that's actually why I walked on to college football, is I kind of just wanted to follow in his footsteps and be like, hey, I could do this too. Just kind of always wanted to prove myself. I still feel like I have to prove myself at times. And, that's just, I don't know why. I don't have an exact reason. Maybe I need to go talk to a therapist and figure it out. But, just wanted to kind of prove myself and be like, hey, you did it. I could do this as well. That was about it. There was nothing too crazy about it where I was like, hey, I have to do this. It was just you did it. I'll do it. Let's try it out.
Nah, I feel you. Go ahead on.
So from being a cop, how long were you a cop for? And what was that branching off point where you're I need to do something different?
Yeah, so I was a cop for 4.5 years, almost 5, and about 2.5, 3 years in, I always had my like beef with people at my department and stuff like that. I love everyone there. If anyone listens to this, no hate in any way, but like people would say like, hey, like I said, arrest this guy for marijuana, and I'd be like, absolutely not going to happen. And they'd be like, no, arrest him or you're going to get written up. And I'd be like, write me up. I'll take the write up tomorrow. I'm not arresting him. If you want to, go ahead. So I always kind of had this beef. I don't like getting told what to do. And it's like I had morals that were against some of the things that went on. So I knew I was going to leave about 2.5, 3 years in. And I was like, hey, me and my best friend, Faraz, my CEO and co-founder, we were like, let's start a company. So we started digging into some stuff, and Hydro Flask was someone who really caught our attention. We're like, these guys can take water bottles and thermos and make this into a $150 million company just by rebranding things. Like, it didn't change the game or anything. So we want to do the same thing. And so jewelry was something we looked at, and we were like, we love rocking some new stuff. You can only afford so many watches. So jewelry was what we wanted to jump into. And so I started learning while I was still a police officer, and started working full-time on Manssion and full-time as a cop.
Jeez.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
That sounds intense. How do you balance your time with that?
You just gotta, you do it. Well, I worked 410s. So as a police officer, that definitely helped in the beginning. But then at the same time, you guys both know, Alex, Owen, you guys, you work full time on a lot of things. It's nonstop, 15-hour days, 12-hour days. And even like when you do take a day off, you still put 6 hours in. It just becomes habit, when you love what you do. Yeah. When you love what you do, you just drive for it and you go after it.
No, I definitely hear that.
And where'd you get the name Manssion from? Like, out of all like the different niches you can choose to rebrand something, what was it about jewelry? Because jewelry, there's so many brands out there that are in the mansion space, and the name Manssion itself, like, it sounds so powerful. So, like, what are the origins of the name of the brand?
Appreciate that. Yeah, Manssion comes from actually man on a mission. And we actually took those and kind of pieced it together, and we got Manssion. And then we always thought of like a mansion is, everyone wants a mansion. Everyone wants this big house where you are like, this is my mansion. Like, and that's actually what we first went with, is like, where is my mansion? Like, where do you feel like your mansion is? Now we live by set yourself apart, but that's what we first came up with. And man on a mission was just what we wanted to run with. And what kind of made us get into that space was you had David Yurman. We were 26 when we started it, 27-ish. So we had David Yurman that was like $1,300 necklaces, $1,200 bracelets. We're like, we can't afford this. And we had H&M where we'd go get our jeans and stuff, and that stuff. You grab a bracelet on the way out, and that thing would pop off before you even got out the mall. And we were like, listen, somebody's got to close this gap here. And so we decided to try to do it.
Facts. And yeah, I could see that there's like a streetwear element to it that you're trying to keep. You know what I'm saying? So were you into fashion at all before that? Or is this like from just looking at the market and all right, I see the lane, I'm just going to go for that?
Yeah, I've always kind of been into fashion and wanted to look good. Maybe not as much like into luxury brands or knowing all the top fashion models and all that kind of stuff. But I always wanted to look good. I always just wanted to look my best, whether that was going to the gym, dressing nice, having clean shoes, just taking care of yourself. And that's kind of where we looked at is bracelets were something cool. Like, for example, like I'm rocking a couple right now. Bracelets were something cool that it was like, you could change it every day. You could match your red shoes to some red bracelets. You could wear your new Carolina Jordans and be like, hey, I want to match it to some baby blue bracelets, or your new Chicago's, match it to some red and black bracelets, tie the whole outfit together. That's what we wanted to do.
Nah, I feel you on that.
Yeah. And exactly. And did you have like any other prior entrepreneurial ventures growing up? Like, this is your first business, as we know right now, and it's popping off. But prior to like coming to Manssion, did you ever dabble in any entrepreneurship projects or ideas or small little ventures?
I had one before this called The Shelter. It would never turn into a real business. It was just kind of an idea me and some boys were throwing around. We started working on it, made like a financial plan, but never formed an LLC or anything like that. And it was a basketball, volleyball court place, like 8 courts. It was right next to Phoenix Suns Stadium. And we wanted to take this and use it as a shelter for kids who were on the streets and stuff like that. And if you were 12 and under, you could play for free. If you were 12 and up, you had to pay, you get your memberships. And then we were going to have like pro-am tournaments and stuff like that. But we realized real quick you need a lot of money for this stuff. And so that was the only thing I ever dabbled in. Nothing successful, nothing big, nothing actually open. So this is like the first doors open entrepreneurship venture I've had.
Nah, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So what was like your first like foray into it? So you started an Indiegogo campaign, right? How'd that go for you?
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Dude, that was an eye-opener, I'll tell you that. We watched, you mentioned it earlier, Alex. You mentioned Movement and stuff like that. And Movement, we saw these guys do it, Jake Kassan and Kramer. We were like, these guys crushed an Indiegogo campaign. They did
like 300K.
Yeah, 300K out the gate. I think, listen, if these guys can do it, we can do this. There's no problem about this. Like, sign me up, put 300K in the bank. We'll be rocking in no time. No, eye-opener. So we filmed this Indiegogo campaign, and we got like $7,000. Just enough to order our first thing. And I won't even lie, like 3,500 of it was probably my sister who just threw some money in the bank for us. And she's like, here, go chase your dreams. But yeah, it was terrible. You can still watch the video on Indiegogo. I would suggest you don't do it. It is bad.
you know, Indiegogo campaigns are like interesting. And coming up, I used to think, oh, let's just put up a video, put up a campaign, and, you know, people donate. Since you've done it now, and now you can reflect on it and you can say, okay, this is where we went wrong. This is what we did right. Talk to us about, if you were to start things over again, what would you do different to be a successful campaign?
Yeah, if I was going to do Indiegogo again, the biggest thing I think is just doing things with quality. Taking things a little slower and stop trying to rush to the market. I'm glad we did rush because I feel like a lot of people try to perfect everything. When you try to perfect it, things just get drawn out. So I'm grateful for that. But at the same time, you need to just, you know, take your time, make sure you live up to the quality and the level of everyone else on Indiegogo. And also at the same time, build out your email list. We had like an email list of like 250 people and launched this thing thinking we were going to get 300K. No way. It's not going to happen. So take your time, perfect it to a degree, you know, make sure you spend some quality time. We probably spent 2 months. 2 months on it, we were like, let's just get in the market. Let's start making some money. So, you know, double-edged sword, like I said. We're grateful we got in quick, but take your time, really do things quality, really think about things, build out your email list, build some hype. If I had to go back, it's probably the 2 or 3 biggest things I would do.
So I just want to clarify this because I want to make sure we're giving like our entrepreneur audience, you know, the most value. So you're saying build up an email list, but this is before you had the product, no?
Correct. Yes.
So how would you do that if you don't have the product?
Yeah, Indiegogo, that's a huge thing they do now is build up massive email lists and really build up hype. So you could do this lots of ways. You could do this with lead generation through Facebook ads and stuff like that. You could do this through Facebook groups, blogs, you know, getting some influencers out there, getting people talking about it. There's so many ways now. Or you could also say, hey, you know, subscribe to our email list. We're going to do a giveaway. We're going to give away some free product as soon as we launch. We're going to do, there's so many routes to take, but that email list, just like it is in e-com in general, I don't think people understand the value of someone's information and, you know, what you can really do with that.
Yeah, and how long should you start planning out your Indiegogo campaign?
That's a tough one.
How far out?
That's a tough one. I think it's going to be based like kind of on your products. For us, I would have said I think 6 months was a good one, but you got Indiegogo's come so far from like ours was 3 years ago, which isn't that far away. But just from that, like some of these tech companies on there are like, they're asking for, you know, $5 million and they're getting it. No problem. These things are blowing up on there now. So, you know, you got a tech company, you might need 2-3 years to really build that out if that's the way you want to go instead of like a VC or getting funding. You don't want to give up equity and you want to go that route. Probably going to take you years. You got a clothing brand or something, it's not that complicated. Listen, your clothes, unless they're proprietary clothes and they got a smoothie machine in the back, there ain't nothing too crazy about it. Launch that thing. Let's get some money in the bank.
Yeah,
100%, man.
I feel you. All right, so now let's talk about like this growth, because you've grown like a lot in the last 3 to 4 years. So one of the main things we talk about is Facebook ads, right? So how did you grow the brand through Facebook ads? Like, where did you start with it?
Yeah, so I started Facebook ads in February of 2018, I think. And basically what happened is we were just trying to get started. We were actually trying to build an email list in February of 2018 before products were even live. We were just trying to rebuild up. We hired this guy. And he comes in and he's like, listen, he was a friend of a friend, really nice guy, very smart. And he came in and said, hey, I'll do this for you guys for $1,500 a month. And we had ad spend. At the time, we're just, I guess we're not kids, but at 28, I feel like I was still a kid. I still feel like I'm a kid, but didn't have a bank account like that. So we're spending, $3,000 in ad spend plus $1,500 a month. We're getting killed. And I'm like, listen, we can't afford this. The $1,500 is the only thing we can really get rid of. The ad spends are going to be there no matter what. So I was like, someone's got to take this on, and here we go. I'll deep dive in and let's jump on Facebook ads. It can't be that difficult. And little did I know, it is very difficult. And it took me a long time to learn it, but we've gotten to the point we've gotten at.
So was that guy giving you results?
Yeah, he was giving us results and everything, but we were just kind of looking at it. If we're spending $3,000 a month and this guy's $1,500, we could get 50% more results if we just get rid of this guy and spend that on Facebook ads.
No, that's a fact.
Basic math there.
That's a fact. And that's like, I think the main struggle a lot of marketing agencies go through is that, like, how do I prove my value of that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, all right, that's big. So now you embark on this journey, solo, dolo. How did you start? Like, what was your first lessons that you gained? Were you using your own money at this point?
Yep. So we were all using our own money. Everyone would group it in, and I'd kind of like send a text out. And I'd be like, hey guys, bank accounts only got $30 in it. We got to run ads tomorrow. I need another $400 from everyone. Everybody would have to Venmo me $400 and I'd throw it in the account and we'd start running ads. So we were very scrappy. And like very first thing I learned was, go to YouTube University, man. That thing is just a wealth of knowledge. Still is. If I ever have questions, Facebook's forever changing. They're smarter people than me. Jump on that thing, do some research. You can find anything on YouTube.
So who on YouTube, for the audience members that are dying to learn about e-com ads, who on YouTube did you go to get these jewels? Because they want you to shout them out.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. Very beginning, there wasn't anyone who really I like zoned in on and was like my one guy. As I got further into it, I'm trying to think. There's a guy in the UK, I've talked to him, who is a great resource. His name will come to me. And another one is Common Thread Collective. They're actually a marketing agency, and they put out some real good stuff that still surprises me, and some of their marketing hacks and stuff like that. They're just a digital growth agency. Look them up. They are a wealth of knowledge. And if you need someone to run your ads, they are top notch, top tier.
Top tier, yeah. I think like the most prominent marketing agencies in America is the two are, I think, Common Thread and Mute 6.
Yep.
Mute 6 agency. They're the big two. They did Pura Vida bracelets, and they're another big one. This for anybody looking that has the budget. Or you can do with media as well. They're a big agency in Canada.
By the way, not to cut you off, Ben Heath told you it was going to come to me. Ben Heath. He's a great guy on there. Very smart.
Oh, he has the British accent? And he's like, all right, guys.
Yes.
Like, I think I think I've seen that guy. Jordan Platter or Platin, he's okay. He does have, there's a lot of times that he will drop off information for you to hop into his course to get the rest of it, so it's a heads up for anybody trying to get that information. So Ben Heath is good. Miles Beckler is top tier. I think I was saying that to Owen when you were first doing your ads as well. Miles Beckler is solid. So yeah, there's a few guys. So now, what were the things that were started to work for you with these ads?
The very first thing that worked for me, and I can remember it because I was so excited, was carousel ads. So I tried so many different things, and I think the hardest part for new companies who don't have a big budget is creative. Creative is what drives ads. And if you can't go out and make these flashy videos or make all this stuff, or you're not really like into, design, it's tough. So you have these product photos and stuff like that. And I remember the first two things that really hit for me was a product GIF, just white background, and the products were changing like a GIF with some value props going under, just some basic text that you can make on like GIF Maker Me, just a little app. Or I did a carousel ad where it was like styled photos. And this thing, I remember we were like sitting there and it just started popping off. I was getting like 20 purchases a day. And I was like, whoa, what is going on? I think we've made it. And I was like, no, we didn't make it. It was just one stepping stone. But
Hey, I got a question for both of you, right? Because Alex, I know you're like a ad wizard. Tori, you're like a vet now at making ads. When someone like has a brand such as Manssion, it's a bracelet, you can see many of these ads, but in the back end, what are you doing to really properly target? Like, what are some things that, people miss that they don't know that are critical towards that the success of the ad? Even Alex, you can answer this. I'm just being curious because ads is always something I'm learning new every day. So this is like a good learning lesson for me and the audience too.
Yeah, go ahead, Tori.
Alex, no, all you, sir. All you.
So there's a lot that goes into it. So firstly, there's the campaign, and you optimize that campaign for conversions. There's like multiple objectives that you can have, but for e-com, you optimize it for conversions. And the way it works, there's campaign, then there's an ad set, which is how you are setting up your ads to deliver to the public, right? And that's where you will set the location, the placement on Instagram. Is it going to be in your feed? Is it going to be on their stories? Is it going to be on Facebook? Is it going to be on search? All the placements that it's going to go in. Is it going to be on desktop, mobile, et cetera, et cetera? There's also going to be the bidding amount that you're going to do it. So per ad, is it going to be 5 cents that you want to bid for? 10 cents, $10? What are you bidding for? So there's a lot that goes into it. And of course, there's a lot to say in a small amount of time. But I think then after that, it's the ad. So it's like an umbrella: campaign, ad set, ad. And the ad itself is the creative that you see when you're scrolling through Instagram. So that's like the back end in a very quick summation. And the campaign level is when you choose the actual way you bid on the ad. So that's where you say, hey, I want to bid, just like an auction where you have like one of those bidding signs. You bid, hey, do I want to bid this manually? Do I want to use a computer? Like this, give it to Facebook and say, hey, Facebook, spend money as you see fit to get results. Or do I want to have like a bid cap to say, hey, don't bid more than $1 per action of someone clicking onto my ad, so that's it in a quick, small summary, but there's a lot that goes into each part of it, and there's a science and art and math. So, yeah,
sounds very scientific.
It's a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tori.
I'm with you. There is a lot. I think the biggest thing is just the structure of how a lot of people don't realize there's like a structure to how you make things. That campaign, that ad set, their ads. Every campaign, you can only have you have one campaign, and then inside that is ad sets, and inside those ad sets are ads, and how many ad sets you do, how many ads you do inside each ad set. There's a structure. Like Alex said, there's a little bit of math in there, some science, kind of how you structure everything. It works different in every single account. Everything works differently.
Yeah. So it works differently if you're trying to just get people to sign up to, get contacted by you versus, having someone get an offer to scan at a checkout or an event, or just, buy as an e-commerce transaction. So yeah, you definitely got to like dial into what your needs are, you know. So so let's dial it back to you, Tori. Now you're running these ads and you start seeing this carousel get a W, and like, yes, they got 20 sales. You texting your boys, yeah, and then you must have been like feeling super lit. All right, so walk us through the next steps. You know, also I think what a lot of people sleep on is the logistics that come with it. So I want to bounce there real quick, and then let's get back to some ads because I want to make sure we're giving everybody the most value we can. What have you learned about logistics running Manssion? What's been the hurdles, ups and downs? Let's just let you talk about it.
Yeah, I'm still learning logistics. I think that's a never-ending thing when you own a company, especially as you scale. There's so much. So the thing is we have 5 manufacturers. So the logistics of getting all of those, and one manufacturer might make boxes, the other one might make the metal piece, the other person might make the beads, and we have to get all those together. And then someone has to kit all those, and then you have thank you cards and poly mailers and all this stuff. So the biggest part for me in the beginning was just like, how do you organize all this together? And it's an ongoing process because we gain more manufacturers and stuff like that. And then, for the longest time until actually August of last year, we shipped our own stuff out of the house because we wanted to make sure everything was perfect. We wanted to make sure our first customers got the experience we wanted, and we didn't trust going to a 3PL or a distribution center. So we went to a 3PL, and luckily, as soon as you have the cash to go to one, they can really help you a lot of, finding out, hey, what's the best way to get all this done? How should I do my SKUs? How should I do, where should I send this stuff for kitting? And they just have so much data too of like, we ship a lot to the East Coast and we ship a lot to the West Coast, but we don't ship a whole ton Midwest or the middle of the country. So we want to have, a distribution center on the East and a distribution center on the West. You got to split your inventory. So there's so many things, and it's going to continue. We sell in the UK, we sell in Australia, we sell in Canada. So all those places too, they're going to eventually need distribution centers. It's an ongoing battle to keep learning logistics. It is. I think logistics is honestly probably the backbone of every e-commerce company. It's insanity.
Yeah, and I don't think enough people talk about it and actually share their information. So I feel like a lot of people just say, all right, figure it out on your own, So let's talk about like the structures that you have to set in place to actually get everything flowing, right? So when you first got the bracelet, was it made at one manufacturer? Or was it at 5 from the start? Like, break that down.
Yeah, so the first bracelets we got were from one manufacturer, and then our boxes were from another manufacturer. So we sent 800 boxes to mine and my CEO's apartment. We were living together, and we just had 800 boxes sitting in our apartment empty. And then what happened is we got 800 bracelets that showed up, and we had to sit there and pack every single box and put microfiber bags in every box. It was ridiculous. I still have a video on my phone about it. We look back and laugh, but that was how we first did it. And now we send everything to our 3PL, which is Ship Bob, based out of Moreno Valley, California. Shout out to them. They're a great company if you need a 3PL. And they kit everything for us. So we send everything to them and they'll piece it all together. They obviously charge us. You can do it cheaper overseas, but there's another line. Like if you look at logistics, like a logistics map, I always think of everything like lines. There's another line, and across that line, something could get messed up. If I'm sending something from China to Italy, that's another line in the logistics where something could happen.
I get what you're saying.
Something could get lost. I always think of the airplane map. The more lines, the more mistakes that can happen. If you just make it one long line, just get it to your 3PL.
Stops.
Yep, exactly. Get it to the 3PL. Let them do the gist of it. So that's what we try to do now. But there are times, luckily, where we've worked and spent enough money with manufacturers where we can just make them communicate. Say, hey, I need the head over here and the head of over here to speak together, and you guys need to figure out what's going to happen because they want your business. So eventually you can just start handing them together and say, listen, you guys figure it out. I pay
Y'all
you
figure
both.
this out.
Yeah, I pay you both enough money. Figure it out. And if you don't, you're going to lose out on business. Luckily, I don't. Yeah, exactly. Luckily, I don't handle a lot of, I handle the logistics when it gets to the U.S. But as far as manufacturers, my two partners, Yorgi and Faraz, they handle all that, designs, all that stuff. I'm the data guy. I sit on the back end and look at all the numbers and say, hey, listen, we need to increase our, lower our COGS, cost of goods or whatever for the audience, if someone doesn't know, cost of goods. And I just go to them and say, hey, we need to lower our COGS. And they'll say, all right, we can cut some stuff here. Let me talk to these manufacturers, and they make it happen. They're fantastic. So they help a lot.
That's it. Yeah. All right, so I have a audience member question. So this girl, she works. She's based in the UK, right? And she has a makeup line, but she wants to get it to the US. And of course, shipping from the UK to US is insane. She wants to figure out a DC in the States so she can ship her makeup around, America. Any advice on getting that done?
Yeah.
From your logistic experience?
Yeah. So we actually just helped someone do this from the UK actually, and got on the phone with them. Yeah, a pet company. So, and they talked to ShipBob, my 3PL. So my 3PL actually has a place in the UK. I don't know if this person is already with a 3PL. If they are, see if they have a location in the US. The only problem about splitting inventory, it's so cash flow heavy. You need to be, it's very demanding on your cash flow because you have to carry enough inventory to each. You can't say we're going to ship one item from the UK and one item from the US and they'll meet at your house. You have to have all the inventory at both. Your best option is to get another distribution center in the US. The short-term option might be to eat the shipping until you build up your customer base in the US and say, you know what, now we're getting, 2,000 orders from the US every month. We can, make enough money in the US where we should make sure that we open a distribution center there because we know that there's some real growth. Proof of concept.
Smart. Just eat the cost of shipping. Yeah, and that's the thing, because people in America, they stingy with shipping. Amazon Prime has, made it $5 shipping, grips money, excuse me?
Kill us all.
$10 shipping, they're very stingy with the shipping. So
what's funny, Alex, is we just talked about this the other day for our company is we wanted to figure out whether we want to make people pay $6 for shipping or whether we want to raise prices $6 to cover our shipping. And
raise it.
I'm going to pose a question to both of you. If it's $65 with free shipping or $59 on the website, but then you have, $6 at the end, here's the difference is you view it as a $59 product. So the value of your product only has to be worth $59. If it's $65, the value of your product has to be worth $65. What do you do?
Well, for you specifically, I think you should raise it because once you pass $20 with a bracelet, you are I'm investing in myself at this point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. 50, 65, 75, I'm all right, I like this. I'm buying it no matter what. If you're buying a $300 shirt, it don't matter if it's $250, $300, or $350. Because I'm buying the shirt as a guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I think for you, just eat that shipping cost. I mean, not eating, and include it and make it higher. If this is makeup now, or I don't know, give me something else. Sneakers, and it's going from 50 to 85. That might be a big difference. But yeah, I think something like accessories, where guys, I feel like they're price conscious, but once they're locked into the brand, they don't care.
Yeah.
That's my opinion, personally.
Owen,
what do you think, Owen?
You agree?
Man, I was going to say the same thing. I'm if I'm already dropping 60, 59 bucks for a thing, $6 is nothing to me, right? Because
nothing.
The anchoring of the big price and then I'm the little price, I'm already committed toward paying this much money. So it's already a shoe in that, okay, screw it. $6 shipping doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt me. Even like bigger items, like $100 product, like $15 shipping. I'm like, I kind of need this. I want it. It's just, I think a lot of people just want the whole thing in one. So free shipping is just something that they don't have to think about the checkout. They have to reconsider the price again. Because that's what happens. Like when you're at the checkout, you see the tax plus shipping. It's a whole different psychological process you're going after, because the whole time you're making that decision, you just think 59, 59, 59. Then you get all the way to the end. Now it's like $75 and you're like, what? Like I was already budgeting this for 59. Like, wagwan now. You know what I'm saying? So it's at the end of the checkout, right? Because now you got to think things over again. That's why I think a lot of people bounce when they're like at the cart where they're about to pay.
Yeah, I completely agree. We're running a split test on this starting tomorrow, next month. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know where we end up and what conversion rate's better. But I think this is a very interesting test to run. So I'm pretty curious.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
Without a doubt, I think they're gonna buy it, no problem. Because once they see free shipping on top of that, it's gonna be, free shipping. Honestly, like I feel like we should include tax in the price as well. Like I feel like it's such an annoyance that I have to reconsider everything when the entrepreneur, the business has to pay tax either way. You know what I'm saying? So the customer has to reconsider their entire purchase now because they have to pay tax. I'm like, why don't you just include the tax in it? You know?
Yeah.
But that's just my personal opinion. Like if I could just pay one price for everything, I'll just be all right, let's just pay that and keep it moving.
I'm with you.
Personally.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Yeah. All right. So now, with logistics, anything else we should touch on before we move back to Facebook ads? Because I feel like people don't talk about logistics. I'm like, this is such a stressful part of business. Have you ever had a shipment like disappear on you or come back crazy? Like, what's been your experience? Let's dive deeper.
Yes. So luckily we haven't had too many crazy problems. We had a issue where we had some bracelets that were breaking. And kind of basically what happened, I'll give you the quick rundown, is the holes on the bracelet, because our bracelets are on nylon, our beaded bracelets, they were too small. And so when people were opening and closing them, what happened is it started rubbing and fraying against the nylon and they were breaking. So something a lot of people don't think about in logistics is, let's say you get 5 boxes in to your company, you need to be able to separate which box each one came from. Otherwise, it's just all together. So there's, FIFO, which is first in, first out, or LIFO, which is last in, first out, which means if the first box comes in, that one needs to be sold out before the next box goes out. So if you start having an issue, you can ask your warehouse and say, hey, we're having an issue with SKU XYZ and SKU XYZ. Can you tell me the box number in the upper right-hand corner? And they're like, hey, it's 75. You can go back to your manufacturer and say, hey, box 75 has an issue. 76 better not have an issue when that one comes up. What do we need to do here? So stuff like that, a lot of people don't think about is once you start getting thousands and thousands of products in at a time, you have to make sure that, they're all made at separate times on a manufacturing line, or, it might be separate material orders or whatever. You have to think about that stuff as well. What if there's a problem? How do you cover yourself if there is an issue with a large majority? You need to be able to say, hey, we can say all these came from the same material, or all these came from the exact same beads or metal. Take 75, 76, take them out, slide 77 forward, and get it going.
Nah, that's a big gem.
Big gem.
Big gem. That's a fact. Yeah, being able to backtrack your inventory. Yeah, I think people are most likely sleeping on that. All right, cool. I think we've covered a good ground with logistics. Now, I want to get to scaling up these Facebook ads, So what was your first amount and what was your first time scaling up? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so still scaling up right now. I don't think the scaling will ever stop. Knock on wood. Let's hope it does. Let's hope it doesn't. You might eventually move platforms, but let's hope the scaling don't stop. I think the first time we really scaled up, I'll just hit you with a crazy number. I won't talk numbers too much, but last January, we did $4,000 in sales in all of January. We're way, way, way above that. I don't want to talk too big of numbers, but we're much, much larger than that in 1 year. I almost think it's too easy to, and we actually heard this from Stephen Borelli at Cuts Clothing, if you're familiar with them, that it's too easy to scale to an extent. What I mean by that is once you I think the hardest part for Facebook ads was to find consistency of 1 a day, 2 a day, 3 a day. But at that point, once you start generating enough cash flow, you can test so much so fast. And we're pawns on the scale of what some of these large companies are. Pure Avita, Cuts Clothing, Movement Watches. These guys are testing thousands of ads a week. We test hundreds of ads a week. And, you can say, okay, this works. And Alex, you know this with Facebook. Once you find an ad that works, it goes. You just add fuel to the fire. You're putting gasoline, which is budget, behind it, or you might introduce it to a new audience. And from that point on, you say, hey, the background on this is green. Let's try to change the background to yellow. Maybe it works better. And you would be shocked that it just takes off. And you're like, oh, now this one's better. And you just keep trying to make better ads. But the hardest part is finding what ad do you want to make better.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. So do you just add more money to it? Is that the strategy? Or is you say, all right, I'm gonna add a new city, I'm gonna add a new age range, a new lookalike? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so for the most part on us, I've left it open our entire scaling process. I never did geolocations. I never narrowed down age, because Facebook will start to learn kind of more and more what your exact audience is. You don't have to tell it too much. As far as interest-based audience, you kind of do in the beginning to really zone it in. But I'll give a gem right here. At the scale we're at, a free-based audience or an audience with absolutely no targeting is just like a lookalike audience. We have, almost 7 figures, if actually 7 figures spent on our pixel already. So once you have that amount, Facebook, you've spent $1 million. Facebook looks at all those data points and says, we have enough information to know who's going to buy your product for the most part. So you don't have to give it too much guidance after that. As far as continue to scale, I think the real interesting part at the level we're at is finding out customer lifetime value. And what I mean by that is if someone buys, a beaded bracelet from us compared to a metal bracelet from us, who's worth more money long term? Is the beaded bracelet person worth more, or is the metal person worth more? Maybe you sit there and say, hey, the metal person you didn't make as much money off of in the beginning because the customer acquisition cost was higher. But in 60 days, you're going to triple your money. And on the beaded, you're only going to make one time. So those are the things you really start getting zoned in on. And it's really interesting. And you start saying, oh, this person bought gold back here. Let's hit them with an ad for gold in 21 days and see if we can get them to pair that up with another bracelet. It just starts getting real specific. It gets fun. It gets fun when you have to stop worrying about trying to make enough money to survive, and you just get to be like, okay, how can we grow it? That's fun.
I can't agree more.
Yeah.
Go ahead, on. You have something you got to say?
I don't know if you're finished with the ad questions, but I want to ask something about the future of the company. We're talking about growth, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that brought you in this game was a Movement Watches, and you see all these guys killing it. What's the end goal for you and your partners what's the end vision? Is it acquisition? Are you looking to build a legacy company? What are your guys' thoughts on this?
It's such a tough question because it constantly changes for us, where we become more attached. So the first one we saw was Movement Watches sell for $100 million up front with $100 million on the back based on performance. Pure Vita, $100 million. Cuts Clothing, there'll probably be the next big acquisition out there. You got Liquid IV. All these companies, you're just seeing 9 figures left and right. And it's only getting bigger. E-com's only growing. So we originally came in and we were like, we want a 9-figure exit, which I don't think is out of the question from what you see from a lot of these companies by any means. A 9-figure exit to us at one point was 100 million. Now we're looking we could hit 200. We could do 200 million, 250, 300 million. But along that journey, it's become less about money and more about Manssion becoming a household name for us. The money's awesome. It's cool. It gives you freedom. It lets you take care of your loved ones and your friends and give people experiences. But the best things I've had with Manssion, and these just happened last week, is we were out we were out at the bar, and this guy was like, yeah, I'm from Arizona. We were both rooting for the Suns, and I looked down at his wrist and he was rocking our bracelets. And I go, where'd you get those bracelets? And he goes, Manssion. He goes, yeah, I saw them on Instagram. They're a dope company. You should check them out. And I lifted up my shirt sleeve, and I have our logo tattooed on me.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, you like Manssion that much? And I go, no, I actually own the company. He goes, no way. And he was so excited. I think I was more excited than he was. I was stoked. I was like, this guy's repping my stuff. I've never met him. There's no connections. And then it happened at a pool party the week prior. That's starting to become like what really makes me happy. That I see people rep our stuff and they're excited and they tell us like, dude, I love it. It makes me feel confident. I like to rock it with stuff. Or those customer reviews come in. You know, money's cool, but you know, making someone feel good is something that's it just hits different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like when you're growing the business, which other product lines do you see Manssion going into? If it's a household name, like it's gonna cross that threshold of just being more than jewelry. Like, what are those other product lines that you're thinking about going into?
Yeah, so we consider ourselves a premium accessories brand. So we want to own. You know, you have to be good at something before you go out too far. I think a lot of companies expand too fast. So we want to own the wrist. I don't know if there's a company out there that really owns the wrist yet. So that's what we want to do. We have some necklaces and stuff that we rock, but the next one is backpacks, luggage, bags, stuff like that. We just want to be, you know, that type of brand. Rings we've looked at, but the sizing is so complicated. And honestly, a lot of us don't rock rings and we want to rock our stuff. So we want to just, you know, we've done sunglass chains where you go out, you're out on the boat, you got these gold sunglass chains rocking. Those are fun. You know, we just want to make stuff that we want to rep and we want to rock as individuals. And you know, we kind of think if we want to rock it, there's other guys out there who want to rock it too. But I think the next big step is bags.
I was going to say watches because with a name like Manssion, I'm a man on a mission. I'm looking at my wrist. It just seems so fitting to me.
I agree. I love watches. My CEO for us is a massive watch guy. He sits there, you go to his YouTube and he's just like all these watch reviews and stuff like that. But I don't think you can outdo these guys. Like you can't outdo Rolex, Audemars Piguet, Patek. Like, you know, these guys have done it. They've made the best of the best. And I'm not saying we want to go that realm, but you know, Movement, Vincero, even these guys, like they make great watches as well. It's a very, you know, complex thing. And I don't know. We actually came into this because we knew watches were expensive. Like you can't have 15 watches. A lot of people can't have 15 watches. You know, even if they're $300 watches, it's expensive. Go buy yourself, you know, 10 stacks of bracelets, and it's like you can rep, you can change colors, you can do whatever you want. It's like that versatility is fun.
I hear you, man.
Nah, that's real. I remember when I used to rock bracelets, I used to rock like a specific color to like match my sneakers too. It's a little accent piece there that you can do to like impress a chick. You know, I feel you.
Exactly.
It shows some flair.
Exactly. It's fun.
Yeah. Word. Awesome, man. All right, so the exit is the plan for now. You know, grow it up.
300 million.
Yeah, exactly. 100 milli. All right. So now, what advice would you have for entrepreneurs that are embarking, on the e-commerce journey?
Just don't stop. I feel it sounds so cliche, and it's been said 1,000 times, but I think it's more true now more than ever because you have so many resources. You have podcasts like this. You have YouTube, you have articles, you got Instagram where you can follow people who are entrepreneurs who are putting out amazing information. You know, if you're not learning, then you're going to fail. But if you stop, you're also going to fail. Those are the only two things. You have to constantly learn. If you stop learning, you're never going to make that next step because you're not going to know what to do. If you don't talk to people and ask, you know, we talk to people every day. I've had 3 meetings today just asking people, hey, we're not sure what to do here. What should we do? Do you have any advice for us? And take it for a grain of salt. You want to obviously make your own opinions. It's your own company. But you need to know, I think the most successful entrepreneurs in the world know what they don't know. I think that's a very powerful thing. Hey, I don't know how to run Facebook ads. Who should I ask? Hey, I don't know logistics. What should I do? those are the things that are going to make you successful. If you think you're the best at everything, good luck. It's not going to end well.
Yeah, if you think you can run the whole thing by yourself, you're going to end up burning out.
Exactly.
Facts. Just like that. Where can people find you?
Manssion.com. Come follow us on IG at Manssions, Mansion. Help us get to that 100,000 followers, get that blue check mark. We're working on it, but you know, it's a process over there.
Oh, one last question before we wrap up. The Facebook Analytics is getting out of here today, literally June 30th today. Facebook Analytics is getting out of here. What's your move as an entrepreneur and businessman with this new adjustment?
Well, the first thing I did is I downloaded all my analytics as fast as possible. So I've already done that, and if you haven't done that, I apologize because this podcast ain't going to release until after they're gone. So next step is, you know, you got to use Google Analytics. You got to find other data platforms and stuff like that to really, you know, find as much as you can. Hotjar, Lucky Orange, we've talked about that before, Alex. You need, you know, what's going to really drive your business is data. So Facebook getting rid of it sucks for most of us. But there's other places you can go get this. Don't rely just on Facebook. Google Analytics, like we said, Hotjar, Lucky Orange are really good. There's so many things out there, and it's the exact same thing we just talked about. If you don't know where to get that data, reach out to someone, ask around, you know, do some free trials on some stuff, and just capture it so you can learn who your audience is, where do they live, you know, age, gender, all that kind of stuff, because that's so important to how you portray your brand. If it's, you know, 50-year-old women on your website or 25-year-old men, there's a massive difference.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. And just for the people wondering, Lucky Orange and Hotjar, they are both heat mapping tools that allow you to see what customers are doing on your website as they browse around. It like tracks the mouse and it spits out a heat map so you can actually see what people are doing. So yeah, tap into those. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know where to find them. Any last questions, my guy, before you get out of here?
Nah, man, I'm ready, bro. We're ready. We're mansioned out. So let's go get that mansion now, bro.
Yeah, you guys need to hit me. Let's get you some gear. Let's get some gear on those wrists.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm down, man.
I'm down. I like the metal bracelet. I like the metal joint.
Yeah, that one's unreleased right there. We haven't released that one yet, but it'll be coming here shortly.
I need some silver, bro. I need some silver and some gold for one. I just got a new watch, so I want to get like a bracelet on my right wrist. So I'm gonna shop around on the website.
There you go. Yeah, just hit my email or shoot me a text. We'll take care of you guys.
All right, bless up, Tori.
Appreciate you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
By the way, go Phoenix Suns. Hopefully this ends well. Phoenix Suns, Game 6 tonight versus the Clippers. Let's hope this podcast age well and we're in the finals when this is released. Let's go Suns.
NBA champs.
We shall see. It's going to be historic. Without a doubt. All right, ladies and gentlemen. With that being said, the hustle is what you can't control. So control your grind and control your life. I'm Alex.
And I'm Owen.
And I'm Tori.
Bang, bang.
Hustle of everything, y'all.
There you go. Thanks, guys.
Peace out.
Thank you so much for listening. The conversation continues on our Instagram at 247hustler. We post very frequently. And be sure to check out our merch at hustleovereverything.co. We have some amazing sweaters, hats, mugs, and a lot more. Lastly, our Proud to Pay program is linked in the description below. Thank you so much for your support. Talk to you next Monday. Peace.